Never Seen It podcast, the only podcast called Never Seen It that's worth listening to. With us tonight, Mr. Arnie, the One Man Party's here with Gallego, Mr. Daily Dares, aka Filipino Grigio, aka Alex Gallego, the Brothers Gallego, Mr. Donnie Appleseed, aka Donnie Guzman, Mr. Ghost Nerd 88, aka Justin Holden. Miss Lisa Counterman rejoins us for the third time. Third time's a charm. Yep. There we go. Welcome back, Lisa.
She gets her steak knives.
She gets her... Exactly.
Ginsu.
And then there's me, Boots Too Big. We're joined tonight by Mauricio Dzierwa, who is a native of Toronto, Canada, with Mexican and Polish heritage. He graduated from the University of Texas at Austin in 2025 with a degree in radio, television, and film. In 2024, he racked up 7 directing credits and started 2025 by directing his thesis film, Inner Child. Since graduating, Mauricio has focused on developing and writing feature film scripts. His number one goal is to make what he wants to see on the big screen, pulling from personal experience to create something fresh and new. And we're also joined by Joshua Allen, his lead VFX artist on this project, who graduated from the University of Texas, specializing in CGI and VFX. Josh has a deep portfolio of professional VFX work ranging from advertising, short film, social media, and non-profit support. And I would like to start the show actually by playing a quick clip from the Inner Child film. If you'll indulge me for just a second as I pull that up. Here we go. And I don't know if you'll get sound on this. You should, but here we go.
This isn't home.
All right. Well, that's just a little taste of what you'll see in the film, which is a very VFX heavy film. But yeah, Mauricio, tell us, let's start with the genesis of this project. What inspired it, and how did you get this project off the ground?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, thank you for having Josh and I on y'all's podcast. We're super happy to be here. So I will say this story non-linearly as best as I can, but basically this was made in the UT undergrad thesis production class. And in order to get into that class, you have to apply to it to even be able to register for it when the time comes. And in the moment, I was an advanced narrative creating a film, and there was 2 weeks left in that deadline, and I had nothing like planned next. And I really wanted to be a part of thesis because it's you get the best equipment, the crews are bigger, you can be a little bit more ambitious with it. So basically, I started thinking, where did I start on my filmmaking journey? And for me, that started like, when I was however short I was at 8 years old creating Lego stop motion animation films. And at some point, through I guess external pressure, you feel like you have to grow up and pick up like a real pursuit. So when college came around, I chose to study business originally. And I was lying to people like, yeah, this is what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. The reality was it wasn't, and it led to like one of my most unhappiest years, which was just my first year in college. And then eventually I made the switch to radio, television, film, and it ended up being like one of the best decisions I've ever made. So I guess for y'all who watch the film, you see a bit of that tug of war in the film and pursuing what makes you happiest, and that's basically how this got started. And when making the submission, you have to submit as a director producer duo. So the director has to take a certain class, and the producer has to. And once again, that deadline was looming. So in order to make this film, the first person I needed was Josh. And visual effects people at UT, they're a rare breed. There's not that many of them. And I just happened to be friends with the very best one. So I was like, Josh, I have no idea what the story is at the moment, but there's going to be VFX and Lego. Are you in? And he's like, I'm in. So great. Next person I went to was Gavin, who is the producer and co-writer for the film. And Gavin, he had never produced a short film up to that point, but we were both a part of a student-run show, and he was an executive producer on it, and so was I. And I could see his work ethic, and I knew he could apply it to producing this film. So I ended up asking him, I'm like, here's what I got. I got this girl. She gets pulled through a portal. Her passion is making films. At some point, she ends up in a Lego world and then goes back to pursuing what she loves. Are you in? He said he was in. And from there, we went on the journey to creating Inner Child. So, yeah.
Well, that's great to hear. So tell me a little bit about the writing process. That's the biggest thing I'm always curious about. Like, how long did it take you to write the script? Did you write it with the visual set pieces in mind, or did that come, or was that already kind of like in your mind when you were doing this, writing the script for this?
Yeah, so writing the script, ultimately what you end up seeing on the big screen, or from your point of view, the smaller screen, but was draft 20. And in the class, you're put in a pressure cooker with the script, and you go through rounds of notes. You take what you want, leave what you want. But the way Gavin and I started this is originally this film was going to be live action, Lego Blender animation, and then there was going to be like some 2D animation world. But when having that first meeting with Gavin, telling him about it, he just blurted out, "What if?" Because I wasn't too fond of that like 2D animation world. He said, "What if we just did it in Minecraft?" And then it was like mind blown, like oh my gosh, because like I have so much experience with like modded Minecraft and stuff, so like my mind just started racing in a million places. So then after that first meeting of us, hey, saying we're going on this adventure together to make this film, we had that, I guess, our first writer meeting, and we kind of like rented out a little conference room, and we had the whiteboards and whatnot, and then we just basically wrote the slug line for the scenes that we were going to have. And then we split it 50-50 over winter break because, you apply in November time and then winter break happens and then you start in spring. But over winter break, we're writing, rewriting, writing, rewriting. And, through the process, I would say the Minecraft world was the one that changed the most, even after we did principal photography in February. Like originally, it was going to be some like modded. I don't know if y'all have experience with modern Minecraft, but there is going to be like this void worm, which is like not a mob from like regular Minecraft. It was going to be something totally crazy, and it was the thing we received the most criticism on while getting notes from the class. But ultimately, we had the flexibility to keep writing and rewriting that portion, and draft 20 ultimately came around. I want to say late March, and that's when the script was 100% finished, and you end up seeing what you see on the screen. So yeah.
Nice. And Josh, I'm curious, what took longest for you? I mean, obviously, you filmed the live action sections, but did all the VFX work? Was that like a painstaking process for you, Josh?
I would say yes and no. Luckily, Mauricio, us being friends and having a ton of history before coming to like making Inner Child, has heard of the plights of a VFX artist where a director will go out and shoot something and will live by the slogan like, we'll fix it in post. And they don't plan for post at all. And so I get hit with $100 budget and like 50 shots that I've got to clean up and make all of Star Wars happen within like 20 minutes. And so he had me there like from the very beginning to help write scenes and to help like tailor the ideas to where it'll look good with our limited like VFX budget and scale and also like fit within the tight deadlines of the class. And so while it did take long, like all VFX do in order to make look halfway decent with like a one-man army or a two-man army for the animation side, it really didn't take long at all in the grand scheme of things. It was awesome to kind of be that supporting character in Mauricio's narrative.
And I had such a fun time watching it with my kid because we both love Minecraft. So we loved it, man. That was so good. He was like, I forget what he was pointing out because he's like a Minecraft expert. I'm not. And he was like, oh, that's the thing, and that's that, and that. Yeah, it was great. So great
What
job
ended
on
up
that.
happening for those Minecraft sections is Mauricio doesn't quite have the computer up to snuff to run all the shaders that he wanted
Oh,
and all the physics packs. And so he'd come to my VFX rig with some of his friends, and we'd all be in one room like an old school LAN party. And he'd be directing them on my computer while everyone else would be acting out on like their smaller rigs without like all the shaders on.
Sorry,
And
dumb
so,
question because my kid's always talking about shaders. So what are shaders exactly?
Mauricio, do you want to take this one or you want me to get it?
You got it.
So shaders are basically, it takes Minecraft's traditional style, which is very flatly lit,
Yeah.
and applies real life ray tracing physics where basically the viewport of the camera shoots like a little light bounces out and calculates all the ways that light would scatter around. And so it's a way of making Minecraft look more realistic, but with the way that Mauricio organized the shader pack, you get a lot more like cinematic tones with the right color shifts, the right lens flares, a little bit of bloom and lens distortion on the camera. And so it's really a way to make Minecraft go from like a video game to looking more like real life. And then by editing those effects, you can make it more like a viewport into like this camera picturesque world.
Nice. Okay. That's what I noticed that I was like, oh, the lighting is like really cinematic in these shots. Great job. Did anybody have any initial questions for Mauricio, Alex? I know as our
I think Donnie
SDCC
does.
expert, Donnie, you had something. I didn't see your hand up. That's the other thing. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Donnie.
I know this was like a time sensitive assignment, and also you guys had financial constraints that you mentioned. But what was the hardest artistic choice that you had to make during the making of the film?
There was a lot to like. We did not come close to reaching our proposed budget that we were aiming for, Gavin and I. So like our production design team, you know, they were given the equivalent of a bag of chips and had to make it look like steak and potatoes. Same for our costume. And, you know, we got to get thinking really creatively. I wouldn't say there wasn't anything specific or artistically that made us eliminate, but I will say the Shepherd character originally, you know, he wasn't going to have his like Obi-Wan look as Jedi robe or whatever you want to call it, cloak. It was going to be like this high tech, I don't know, best way to describe it, like something like Deathstroke, but not as like muscular, if that makes sense, I guess. Like in a suit like that. But obviously, like, you know, we're looking around prices and whatnot, and it's like that's not possible. And also because it was thesis, I was thinking extra ambitiously. I was like, oh, what if we did the sparks practically? And that is like it's a nightmare, the price for that and insurance and whatnot. And then thankfully Josh can make it look just as real with visual effects. So overall, honestly, artistically, there weren't that many sacrifices that had to be made.
Justin, you had something?
Yeah, I'm just gonna like circle back over to like the VFX stuff because I went into this not knowing what I was getting myself into, and I was quite pleasantly surprised by the outcome of it. I think what I really liked about the initial portal opening, it kind of, I don't know, for some reason I kind of got what's that movie called? Everything Everywhere All at Once. I kind of got like you know, portals opening and things like that, and I was like, wow, like this is pretty interesting, and I didn't know where it was gonna go when she walked through the portal, and then when she walked through and it was Minecraft, I was taken aback. I literally like turned and I looked at my wife, and I was like, what the hell is happening? And then I was and then we started watching it and getting into it, and we were really like we were caught off guard, but we were pleasantly surprised by the outcome of that as well. And then flipping all the way over into the Lego side of things, was my question on that end for the Lego stuff, was that all stop, that was definitely all stop animation, stop motion, or was that more on the CG side?
Josh, that's all you.
Thank you, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you again for the high praise. Everything Everywhere All at Once was actually the first movie to make me cry. So to be put in the same category as that, even if it's just like a mental flare leading that way, high praise. So I appreciate it. But no, that was actually all in Blender. While I did some support on the Lego world in terms of like setting up the characters and the environments, all the animation was actually done by our friend named Daniel, and he should definitely
Danny.
Danny.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I didn't know if it was his real name was actually Daniel. I always just knew him as Danny, but he is a master of animation. It would not look near as good if he wasn't the one behind it. And so while I was burning the midnight oil and making sure that all the live action stuff looked good, we were lucky to have him on board to where basically all I needed to do was hand him the Lego set of like, hey, here's this world that I built out. Here are these characters that I built. And he was able to go in and play with those and make it look amazing. And so nothing but praise for him and all of his work. And yeah, it was all completely in Blender.
That's insane. It's insane how versatile Blender is. I'm always impressed. Like even like the movie Flow, very impressive, you know. And seeing this, I was like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, I specifically read the credits so I can see like what you guys kind of did, just kind of get an insight. And you know, you don't have the rights to it, but you created it yourself. And I was like, man, that looks like it looks like when you go and see the Lego movie, I'm like, wow, you know, this is really good because it looks so realistic. Like it looked like it could potentially be stop motion animation, but I was like, oh, I know some things look a little bit like CG and 3D graphics and stuff. So that's very interesting to know that you guys spent that time to develop that, and that must have been a pain in the ass because that was a lot going on. And yeah, I was very impressed with all those things. Also, I wanted to ask one last question for me is some of the live action scenes kind of were a little reminiscent of like Star Wars, like especially some of the newer like the sequel Star Wars, because I kind of got like Star Wars vibes in certain things, scenes as that as well. So was that also an inspiration?
I would say absolutely. This may be a hot take, but I think George Lucas is so overhated for everything that he's done for film completely. I know sequels has nothing to do with him, but like for me, my favorite movie of all time is Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and my little ritual that I do before I make any film is I rewatch it the night before. So literally, I was 3 a.m. I can say this now since I'm not going to school there anymore because you're not supposed to in the studio go there at 3 a.m. and watch on the big screen, you know, your favorite film at night with the amazing speakers. And, you know, the dream one day is, you know, the way that film makes me feel, it's my dream to make something. Obviously, I can't make something like that, but that reminisces with someone the way that reminisces with me. So yeah, Star Wars was, you know, it's one of my favorite things to
You
watch. So
you
yeah,
you make something so someone else can watch it on their big screen.
yeah.
Revenge of the Sith is a great movie. I don't care who you are, man. That's a great movie. Like, yeah, it's got some dumb dialogue, sure, but what movie doesn't? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
True.
nice work on that. I want to talk about Natalie Tran, who's the main character of this film. So, talk to me about casting. How did you go about casting this project?
Yeah, so I was working with this actor who like basically for all my previous films I worked with, but the people who study acting at UT, their final semester, they go off to LA. So I didn't have my go-to actor, so like okay, I gotta start looking, and this will be a little long story, but it'll come full circle. But one day, you know, I'm a huge fan. I don't know if you know them, the Sidemen, but I was watching. Okay, no, they're a UK group, and one of them who used to be a part of it, his name is KSI, and at the end of one of his videos, Natalie Tran appeared, and I didn't think nothing of it or whatever. And then next thing you know, on my explore feed on Instagram, like Natalie Tran pops up. I was like, why do I recognize her? And then I click on her profile, and then I see that she goes to UT. So I was like, what the heck? That's so cool. So moving on from that, I was going around asking people, hey, do you know anyone who may be interested to this? And shout out to my friend Morning, who was a mutual friend of both of us, and I tell him about it. He's like, I can get you Natalie Tran, and I was like, what? He's like, yeah, yeah, I can get her for you, and he set up the meeting. And at the moment, let me backtrack real quick. I saw what Natalie did on her reels. I know it's hyperbole and whatnot, but I also saw her resume and her theater experience, and because I saw her, she can do this. I knew she could do what was being asked for. an inner child. So that initial meeting gets set up, and I'm like, here's our half-baked synopsis. The lead role is yours. I know you can do this if you want it. And she was in from that point, and yeah, that's how Natalie got casted.
Lisa is our resident actress here. Lisa, I'd love to hear from you from an actor's perspective. What were your thoughts? Initial
I mean,
thoughts?
so one of my all-time favorite movies, it's not CGI, but is Labyrinth. And
Oh.
I was
That was the one with
dismayed.
David Bowie.
Yes, I was
Okay.
dismayed when some of my high school students were like, I don't know who David Bowie is. I don't know what Labyrinth. And I was like, no, this is a travesty. But it kind of gave me those kind of vibes in a different way where I was just happy watching it. I was like, yes, exactly. And I resonated with the whole idea behind it because I'm a teacher and I love teaching, but ever since kind of tapping into the creative side again and going back to my acting, and I've started all of a sudden writing, I that's what I want to do full time. And it's not that I don't love teaching, but I was like, when she picked up her Lego set and walked out, I was like, yes, I'm vicariously living through you. But I also thought how much fun that would be as an actress to be able to be part of this project that had so many different pieces and to have all of the, the visual effects and by the way, the Minecraft part was brilliant. My son played Minecraft all the time. So when that popped up, I was like, I know what that is. But what a fun project to be a part of. I know I've gotten to do some student films in Denver, and those have been some of the best sets that I've been on. So, I mean, kudos to you guys, especially pulling it off in such a narrow window of time. And I do have to laugh with a budget of chips, because a lot of times it is a budget of chips. Like, hey, let's make a movie. I can bring Crafty of some chips for you. But what an incredibly fun project to be a part of. So I just watched it and my inner child was squealing like, God, that would be a fun project to be part of.
You guys are getting chips? Well,
Sometimes even like fruit snacks,
wow!
Yeah.
Don't splurge too much.
We just
Yeah.
feed Adrian breadcrumbs. He's like a duck.
My writer says fruit by the foot.
And literally by the foot.
Yeah.
If it's a Tuesday, chips and salsa.
Chips.
No, salsa's too expensive for a whole
Yeah.
cast and crew.
That's bougie, Arnold.
Yeah. Mhm.
I like the snack of 2 fresh limes in my eyes.
I can throw it together real quick. I got the tomatoes, get
Yeah.
the chilies.
Oh, there you go.
Onion,
Dice up some quick. Yeah.
cilantro.
Arnold's our resident chef. He's a great cook. So you want to talk about cooking tips and everything, you talk to this guy right here, right, Arnold?
Put him on your craft services. That's what you got to do.
Oh, well, he
Chef
makes some good
Boyardee.
meals. Chef Boyardee.
Chef Boy Arnie.
That's your new user handle. I was when I first started watching this movie, when I watched it, I mean the first part of it, the live action parts, and I don't know if it's just because Backrooms is so relevant right now, but I was getting that liminal Backrooms vibe. Mauricio, does this come out the perfect time now that Backrooms is such a hit, or was that already in the works?
Yeah,
What'd you
so
say?
funny enough, like when one of the early scripts we shown, like someone said, I liked it. It kind of gives me the Backrooms vibe. And at that moment, I had never watched the Backrooms, and so I had no idea what they were talking about. And it wasn't until after I made this film, I finally got to watching Backrooms, and I was like, oh, the whole office space and whatnot. I can see how a Backrooms aesthetic could be given to the office spaces within this film. So yeah, I mean, we'll see if it is perfect timing for this to release later in the year with all the Backrooms type of one. But yeah.
I did appreciate the minimalism in the office scenes too, because we had this really gross, almost neon yellow type of cubicle, which I feel represents false happiness almost, even with having just the singular Lego set sitting on the shelf, just to throw some joy into the melancholy monotonous of office work. And I really liked how you laid out that corporate unnerving kind of structure. I really like the color palette of that scene because it's very bright, but it's also such a melancholic scene as well.
Well, yeah, thank you. I mean, shout out to my DP. Marlon, who also did the color. But yeah, early on when we were looking at color palettes and whatnot, the reference image we used for the color scheme, it was like something from The Matrix, I believe, and it had that like green
Oh, my all-time favorite movie.
color that you're mentioning. And so yeah, I'm glad that that came through.
I was going to say, I also, when I was watching, the color struck me because when I saw the cubicles, I saw the lack of color. I was like, conformity. And what a great way to show, like, as we get, as we grow, whether it's from high school to college or college after that, this need for like conformity. Pick a safe career, pick your cubicle and stay in it and don't get outside of it. Stay in these neutral colors in this cubicle and don't dare to step outside of it. So I agree with that comment about the color. I thought that was very well done.
No hate to my alma mater, but also those cubicles are just like that in the UT film building. And so, like, don't get me wrong, the colorist did some work, but there's some old parts of that building that are just devoid of any joy. And that's where they put all the grad students sometimes, and it's so upsetting.
No, they could have filmed the back rooms in there. They could have picked a floor
It
and
is.
filmed them there.
It reminds me because my mom, she had like a government job in California, and they would have like their annual bring your child to work day. And every time I went to my mom's work, all these, you just see rows and rows and rows of cubicles, and they're all like off white, beige-ish, like very sad looking. But it was also, at least for me, because I was really little, it felt like it was an endless maze and that like the building never ended. So office spaces like that always have like a weird, like unnerving feel to them.
Donnie, you had something?
Yeah, I was just wondering. I know it's a short film, so you guys had like, limited, amount of time to put everything in there that you wanted. But I was wondering, is there anything in there specifically for Mauricio or Joshua as like an Easter egg that's only for you guys?
For me, there's a big Easter egg that no one is gonna understand until the film comes out. But the penguin character, that's all I'll say. It's a very big Easter egg, and when the film comes out and you see the channel it's posted on, y'all will know what's up.
I liked when you open the opening shot, you see the two little Lego characters on top of her cubicle. And it's the guy in the cloak, which ends up being the wizard character. And who was the other one? I can't remember who the other one was.
Uh, the antagonist, like the Lego figure,
Yeah,
or
like I think they're sitting on top of her
yeah,
screen or
actually, I have it right here,
oh, no,
ready
there
to
you go.
show. But yeah,
Oh, it's the cowboy and the cloak. Okay,
yeah.
nice. That was a nice little touch.
I'm
Because
glad you picked up on that because some people didn't, and we got, pushed back on that in some of the rough cuts. I was
really,
like, yes,
what was
really.
the pushback on exactly?
It's like,
Like,
why is that there?
no,
Yeah,
that's good foreshadowing. You know what I mean? Like visual
yeah,
foreshadowing.
yeah.
But did you, Mauricio? I mean, I know you're a young guy, but have you worked office jobs? Was this sort of inspired by the monotony of office work, or?
So I am blessed to have not worked an office job, but when I was a freshman, I mentioned it a bit. When I was a freshman at UT, I came in as it was unspecified business. So like you were in business school and you basically had a year to figure out if you want to go into international business, marketing, accounting, whatever. And you take a class exploring all of those paths that you can take, the classes you're going to take and whatnot, and what that means down later in the future. And every single one, I was like, I have zero excitement for this. I don't care if out of college I'd be making high five figure, low six figure amount. I know I'm gonna be so unhappy doing that. So that's why I made the switch. And yeah, but still blessed to not have an office job right now.
And talk to me about San Diego Comic Con. How did that happen?
Yeah, so Marlon actually, our DP, it has was like, hey, have you considered sending to San Diego Comic-Con? I was like, what? Like, he's like, yeah, they have a film festival, and it's the submission is free. I was like, oh my gosh, say less. All those submission fees, they can get a little breather finally, and it's free. Say less. So we submitted. Man, I want to say it was February or something. I forgot when. It was a while ago. And obviously, with the film festival circuit process, it's a long way. We got a couple rejections before, but then at last that email came in. We got into San Diego Comic-Con International Independent Film Festival, and so ecstatic. Gavin, who unfortunately couldn't join us tonight, but our co-writer and producer, like it's always been his like in high school, he said it was his like dream for like his senior trip to be able to go to San Diego Comic Con. So for now, for us to go with a film is like even better, and I look so forward to see it on the big screen there. So
I didn't know San Diego had a film festival either. As our professional experts here with Comic Con, Alex, for example, like, did you know about this? Have you been to it, or what's the?
I think I mentioned it before the show, but yeah, I didn't know for a while, but I feel like I found out about it maybe like just before the pandemic. I was curious as to, because I knew that they would screen like a lot of anime, a lot of like, obviously they had room for a lot of like premieres for films, and so that's where my head was at the whole time. Like all these new films that were coming out. Didn't think about them having a small independent film festival within this giant, which is why I think it's such an amazing event in general. Like, I didn't think that was even possible. Now you have filmmakers, independent filmmakers, who are able to submit their films, whether it be long form, short form, and able to show off their art. And that's the whole dream about of attending San Diego Comic-Con, like especially for creators to be like discovered, and I think that's such a huge opportunity, and I'm glad that San Diego Comic-Con has that for people like Mauricio and Josh. This is something that I think that can be a great stepping stone. Like our previous guest, director Patrick, who was on our Backrooms show, he showed one of his films there, and I'm actually kind of surprised more people don't. Like I was like, why isn't Gil Branco showing a Halloween
It's free,
feast?
especially if it's free to submit.
Yeah, I mean, like Crystal, she should be like submitting her stuff there. That would be awesome. I feel like it's such an underrated thing, and I'm glad that you guys did that, and I'm looking forward to meeting you guys there in person. But for you, like, what? My question is, what are you most looking forward to, other than being able to screen your film at San Diego Comic Con? What are you looking forward to at San Diego Comic Con?
I would say, of course, just meeting all the people we're going to meet. I love the community aspect that everyone gathers in the convention center to nerd out about whatever it is that they're interested in. So I can't wait to do that for, what was it, 4 or 5 days, and also it's my first time going to San Diego, and I love traveling, so I can't wait to explore what there is to do in that area. So yeah.
How long are you guys going to be out here for?
I will be there from the 22nd through the 27th. So it's Wednesday, or forgot, but I leave Monday. That's all I know.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Well, you'll have to hit us up for some recs, because we're some old time pros for San Diego and San Diego
27, 20, year 27 for you, right, Alex?
Yeah, year 27 for me.
This is year 26 for me. If we were to count the Comic-Con special edition in 22?
What's a special edition?
21. It was like the year that, it was like after the pandemic. They had to. I think it has something to do with possibly because San Diego Comic-Con International as a whole is a nonprofit, and as a nonprofit, you are kind of obligated to put on events.
Oh, interesting.
Especially if that's what your thing is, and in order to keep getting funding for like from grants or whatever.
That's why they had to do it it was around Thanksgiving. I remember it was Thanksgiving weekend.
Thanksgiving
Friday.
That was pretty wild. Pretty interesting experience. But look forward to meeting you guys out there.
Yeah, we'll be out there. We'll be out there hitting the streets. We're gonna be gumshoeing it all over San Diego, right, guys? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gumshoeing it.
And I have some connects to the comic book black market, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah,
I'm just messing with you.
So Mauricio, so you're going to San Diego Comic Con. They're going to showcase your film. Do you know like how many other films you're? Is it a competition? Do you win anything, or how does that all work? Do you know? Or
Yeah, so to the best of my knowledge, 49 films were selected, and I think there's eight different genres. So we're in the action adventure genre, but there's I don't know why they don't call it comedy, but there's humor, there's horror, suspense, there's documentary, and I'm forgetting the other ones, but we're in competition for best action adventure film, and then there's an overall award film called Judge's Choice, where the three judges decide what the I guess what the best film there is there, and that gets decided. So yeah.
and what's next for Inner Child? Are you going to go run the festival circuit, or what's the plan after Comic?
Yeah, so after San Diego Comic-Con, we have a couple film festival notifications that we're waiting on. So it's the last bit of it. So I really hope we get a couple more yeses. Whether we get in or not, then it will start to be gearing up, on social media and whatnot, leading up to the release of this film on YouTube.
Well, I just have to say, I judge short films for the Santa Fe Film Festival. So
Oh, okay.
I've watched a lot of bad. There's a lot of bad stuff being made out there. Bad stuff with big budgets, by the way. Like you'd be shocked at like some of these films out here that have huge budgets and like the story is garbage. And I'm like, what is happening? Like who's funding it? It doesn't matter. But I watched your film and I was like, this is fun. This is relatable. Who can't relate to like having a monotonous like office job? Like I've had call center jobs. I've had office jobs. So like for me, that was like the hook to get me in. And then like the Minecraft section, the Lego section. I mean, like I said, I watched it with my kid. It's such a fun little movie. And so you should be, seriously, a good job. Like I watched so many short films and I'm like, but if I had watched this, I would have given this like the highest rating because I'm like, finally a movie that doesn't bore me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, thank you.
just wanted to give you your props on that. And the visual effects are great. I love how you guys match the physical lighting with the VFX like elements that are on the screen. How did you do that, by the way? Is that just like we know what the color is going to be in post and we just do like the gel lighting on the actors' faces, or how does that work? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I will riff off of Josh on this. We'll probably give both of our parts, but like literally before we had, I don't know how many meetings, but it's like this is the shot, visual effect here, this is where lighting will be, and a lot of work was put in pre-production, and it's once again, all of us were so worried of like, is this even gonna work? And Josh, just straight up says, what you're asking for me is like easy to do. I was like, okay. I was like, that's a relief. And even during the rough cut process, when people would see the rough cut in class, like in some of the shots, like portal shot, you got our gaffer holding a light, doing this to, oh, by the way, like all those visual effects shots, there is practical lighting for basically all of them. So stuff like that. And people, afterwards are like, dude, I didn't believe in you. I don't know how you did it. I mean, it wasn't me who did it. It was Josh who did it. And he did it so
Nice work.
wonderfully. So yeah.
Josh, do you want to add to that?
I mean, yeah, I just can't thank Mauricio enough for all like the heads up. Again, a lot of times I get stuff like just kind of thrown at me where it's like, hey, add an explosion here and a UFO here, and then I need the entire set to explode. Here's the footage. Whereas Mauricio, like from the very beginning, was very intentional. Where it's like we're gonna get you on set, and like you're gonna tell us exactly what we need in order to make this look like good and passable. And so that way, like whenever it comes to like getting multiple versions out, like that, like that's a foregone conclusion. It's not like we're gonna hand this to you like a week before it's due, and whatever I put out is right. But we had a whole production schedule and everything fitted out. And so for anytime you saw a VFX like shot on screen, behind it was Mauricio telling the actors what to do, and then me telling everyone else on set what to do with the lights, and like, okay, at this second mark, we're gonna swing this light across, so that way, whenever the laser's going across the screen, we can see the red light flash across their eyes, or like we can see the purple swirling with the lights. And I think that it turned out great. I mean, obviously, I've 2 years down the road, and it's my skills being grown a little bit. I see its rough edges, but looking back at the budget and the time that I had with it, I'm very proud of what me and Mauricio were able to do, and it's one of the kind of few college like VFX experience I can look back and be like it was so much fun to put on, and I hope that y'all can kind of see that with the VFX as well.
Absolutely. You guys nailed it. Good job. Justin?
This is more of me like being a fan of this stuff, but do you guys plan on releasing any kind of behind the scenes like looks on like your YouTube channel, or plan on adding it in like maybe the festival or something like that, or do you have any plans on doing that at all?
I would say, I mean, we had a lot of BTS photos taken that will, I think, leading up to the release of this on YouTube, will post. There is also some videos that were taken. It was only for day two of shooting, though, I believe, but I would say eventually, on social media at innerchild underscore short film, if you want to follow, there we'll be posting BTS leading up to the release of this film online.
Alex?
Yeah, so I want to get back to like this the story and the story behind it. I really enjoyed the chasing your dreams aspect of it, as it's been something that I've always been kind of like in my own life and my own personal life have been like kind of championing. And what like I've been recently going back to this reading Charles Bukowski, and one of his interviews that I saw, he's like, one of the things you have to do is like with the with anything you do, don't don't let your dream die. He's like, it's like your dreams are like an ember, like you got to keep that ember alive, and like one day you keep it lit, and one day you can make that small ember into the biggest giant forest fire. And I think that's something that's so precious to keep to your heart. And one of the questions I had was like, would you expand on this onto like a major feature film? Like, and would you even want to do that, or is it just something like kind of small and personal for you?
Yeah, so it's funny that you say that because I showed this to one of my coworkers who also watched it with their son, and literally as soon as it ended, she told me that all he was saying was that better have just been the trailer. I want the full movie for this. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow, I'm glad it resonated with the. I think it was a 9 year old that said that after watching the film, but. As of right now, it would be so cool to turn this into a feature, but it will come down ultimately to, how is this received online? Does it get a following or not? I will say I do have a rough idea for a prequel, a short film exploring the Shepherd's character more in depth,
That would be
leading up
cool.
to what happens in Inner Child.
That'd be so cool.
So
Well,
depending on the following it gets, I would be so happy to make a short film or even a feature film. But now that I'm not a student, like I don't have my this is a student film card and I will not pay you. So like it'll be a little more pricey if we were to expand this little world we created.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of like the whole thing, right? Like keeping that small little ember lit while you're chasing your dream, and one day it could possibly, hopefully, turn into a feature film.
Johnny and then Arnold.
Yeah, you mentioned sharing the film with your coworker and they sharing it with their son. I was wondering, like during that type of test screening or those test screening process, does that affect like the final cut? Like, do you make any changes based on what you hear from feedback, or is it just kind of like it is what it is, and you're gathering the feedback and keeping it in mind for the future?
Yeah, I would say when it comes to getting notes and stuff, you really got to hold on to the core of your film. And don't get me wrong, getting notes is great and all, and you should really utilize it because there were notes that, helped make this film better, shorter, more punchier. But I remember in my first screenwriting class I took, and when it comes to working with IP, my TA said, when it comes to working with that sort of material, that your job is to not break the toy. Like the toy is already made, it has its ball joints and whatnot. Your job is to, play with it how it was made. And so when getting notes, I would say Minecraft was the world we got the most notes. Why is this there? Why is that that? I don't care about that. But as someone who grew up playing the game since, Pocket Edition and Xbox 360 and beyond, me being the fan, I was like, no, that certain stuff has to stay because as a fan, I want to see that. And I'm sure other people who played Minecraft will enjoy the bits that we put and hope and showed care to, and I hope that comes across in the film. So yeah.
Arnold.
Do you guys know what day they're going to be screening your film at Comic Con?
Yes, it will be Saturday, July 25th from 5:30 to 5:50 p.m. I don't remember the location, but it's right beside the convention center. I think it's like in a hotel or
It might be at
something.
Hilton Bayfront.
I think,
I
here,
wonder.
Yeah, I
let me
feel like it's
pull
gonna be there.
the
It's at the Marriott Marquis.
Yeah,
Oh,
Marina
Marriott
Hotel
Marquis,
or
yeah.
whatever.
I
that's
actually
right.
just looked at the schedule for the
See.
international film festivals. There's a lot of cool, really interesting films. So you've got like you're in good company.
And
Yeah.
if it's on Saturday, there's plenty of time that man, that'd be great. Like if a lot of the Lego fans or they got a huge Lego booth, Lego presence over there. Minecraft, if you're able to somehow, if they were to come and catch wind and
No,
catch the
yeah,
movie,
yeah.
that'd
We're
be
gonna definitely like do some on the street interview there, like before the screening to promote further in social media. And also, if you run into one of us who's attending, actually probably if you run into Gavin or I, we're making exclusive Inner Child San Diego Comic-Con pins that, if you come to the screening or run into us, mainly if you come to the screening, you'll get yourself a free pin if you come talk to us, and you can only get it at San Diego Comic Con. We're not making a lot of them, so yeah.
Supplies are limited.
We'll trade you for a never seen a podcast sticker.
Yeah, Justin
Okay,
made
okay,
some
fair
great
enough.
stickers. Yeah. Blinky.
We'll make some pins soon, and then we'll trade pins with you guys too.
Yeah.
And friendship
Nice.
bracelets.
But I wanted to go back just a little bit to when you were talking about that you were getting notes about the Minecraft portion, and I think it's kind of funny because I'm sure a lot of the notes, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure a lot of the notes were like more like, oh, this isn't like Minecraft lore, or this isn't like Minecraft accurate, or something like that. And I'm like, well, first of all, Minecraft in general is like a subjective medium as well.
Minecraft isn't Minecraft
And
accurate.
this isn't like, it's not a Minecraft story. It's just a story that happens to have Minecraft in it. So I think that's kind of interesting that you got a lot of notes because honestly, let's be real. Sometimes those fan bases can be really toxic and it makes being creative not so much fun all the time. So like, were there any now that I'm thinking about it, were there any like struggles that you guys had with both like the Minecraft portion or the Lego portion or just filming in general where you've kind of had to deal with that kind of struggle?
Yeah, I'll say Minecraft portion, like it was towards the end of semester, so scheduling like especially the shots that we needed, four people, me manning the camera point of view, and then three of the characters moving and whatnot. That was tough to schedule. But not only that, one of the recording sessions, for whatever reason, like I was recording, but it was stuck on the title screen. So like 2 hours of our recording was like of that. And so we had to reschedule, record. I remember that. Like this film was like walking, it was like the goalposts were always moving, it felt like, of where the finish line would be. So stuff like that would come up. Live action, I I mean you have your typical stuff that happens on set. You're behind on time. You may have to cut a shot or two, but thankfully, I know I'm biased, but like this is my favorite and best set I've ever been on. And people, I'm always scared bringing in different people from, I don't know, different periods in my life because there were some recent alumni that helped work on this film, and also some more younger film students, but like everyone, like the chemistry was there with everyone. People were laughing and making jokes while they're carrying sandbags and C stands and whatnot. And overall, it was that helps push you through those longer 12-hour days.
Movie equipment is heavy, man. You wouldn't realize how heavy a C stand. Like that can fall on your foot. That'll mess you up. Lisa, do you have any horror stories from a film set? Or any?
So I recently did my first stunt, and it thankfully went really well. I got
Nice.
macheted and pushed in a muddy pond at 2:30 in the morning. They didn't get to it till then. But I mean, talking about like the equipment, I can only imagine, you, Josh, probably don't have all necessarily the equipment that you're carrying around for the visual effects. I know yours is probably centralized in your studio, but I mean, kudos, because for the first time I am learning boom and sound, and I'm helping on a short horror film with that piece of it behind the scenes because I wanted to be more well-rounded. And I'll tell you what, I can only imagine. I can barely operate my phone and clearly can't operate my iPad very well. And so for you to be able to do all these effects is amazing. I was curious, who, with this screening between both of you guys, who would be your ideal person to like catch the eye of? Like, I mean, obviously, like, somebody like George Lucas or whatever, but is there somebody that each of you is like, gosh, with this screening, man, if only this person within the industry could see it, that would be like my 100% wish?
Josh, you want to go first or me?
M. Night Shyamalan. I'm just kidding.
No, please don't let him touch anything VFX again. I still remember Avatar. I don't like it. Yeah, I can go first, Mauricio. Thank you. Very kind. I would say that local Blender or fellow Blender nerd Kane Pixels, who also did Backrooms. I've been a fan of him since before Backrooms. There was so much cool Blender stuff he was putting on, and then Blender just the Blender Backrooms just went to show how much of a powerhouse it is in the industry. It's shaking stuff up on top of AI. Like film and VFX has never been more democratized or like easier to get in. And so having him like being in the industry, going from like 10 years ago, nobody knows who this YouTube channel is, to now like he's working with the big names like A24, to look at somebody who's hopefully just a little bit behind him would be super cool. And so that way he's like, hey, those portals look good. Hey, those Lego settings look good. That would be like, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I touched on it earlier, but because I have no idea when my foot will be in the door in this industry, but if somehow I can get across George Lucas to see, the impact he has on people, and if not, I can't name them, but anyone who's interested in seeing what I'm working on next, and yeah, is just interested in the stories that I have to tell, would love for them to see it.
Yeah,
That's awesome. So what are you working on next? Are you allowed to
Yeah.
say? Are you working on something?
No, yeah. So actually, making this film inspired me to start learning Blender. So I started by practicing recreating scenes from South Park, La La Land, Breaking Bad, and I recently just finished making my first original one, and I got to reconnect my composer because I do want an original score on it. But basically, since graduation, like I've created this healthy habit of I do my work and then I bounce between working on animation and then working on a feature script. And I just got through a round of notes from some of my friends and peers, and on the road, if I naturally meet someone like a producer who's interested, happy to share with them, and if not, then I'm gearing up for next year to hopefully have at least two feature scripts that are in the double digit draft number to submit to screenwriting festivals, to the ones that have career advancement. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
so you know, Guillermo del Toro will be in attendance at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, that would be a
So,
good person actually
yeah.
to watch and try.
Yeah.
We love Guillermo del Toro on this show. Well, guys, great talk, great film. Congratulations. Good luck at San Diego. Hopefully, we'll link up and say hi. And yeah, anything else you wanna talk about really quick before we wrap her up about this film or anything really?
No, just thanks for having us. Everyone at home should pick up Blender. It's what I do for my job now. It gets you so many places and connects you with so many cool people. So
Do you need a powerful rig? Like, what's like the minimum
You do not.
requirements? Really?
I am an animator at Sky Elements. I do drone shows. It is the most fun job ever. I love taking my family to all of them. And I have coworkers who live in Ghana, and they work on their laptops in Blender as well. They are all self-taught. They're the nicest people ever. All my coworkers are, and so pick up Blender. You never know what doors it'll open, or just pick up anything that's free, exciting, and intriguing for you that allows you to kind of express yourself creatively.
This whole time I thought I needed like a souped up rig. I didn't know that you could just do it on a laptop. That's interesting.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the more realistic you get, the more powerful a rig. But I mean, you can do all sorts of animation and optimization to where, I mean, Backrooms was built on one PC, and so
Yeah.
But-
Where can people find you, Joshua?
you can find me in the sky. If you go to any Sky Elements drone show, you are likely to find me there or some element of my work there. But also, you can follow me at the Pokemon Conservationist on Instagram, where I fundraise for wildlife efforts kind of across the globe. It's gone dormant as I've been in a couple of transition periods. I moved in with my wife here in Austin, and now I'm moving to Maryland as she pursues her doctorates in astrophysics. And so there's been a little bit of change in my life to where I haven't been able to post, but there will be more posts and more stuff from me going up there shortly. So yeah.
Shoot for the stars, I always say, right? So
There you go.
I never actually say that, but Mauricio, any final thoughts you want to leave us with before we wrap her up? And where can people
Yeah,
find you?
well, if any of y'all are going to San Diego Comic-Con Saturday, July 25th, 5:30 to 5:50 p.m., come watch Inner Child. I will be there. My co-writer and producer Gavin will be there. Danny, who did all the animation for the Lego, will be there. And Natalie, who is our lead, will also be there for the panel. And once again, you can get yourself an exclusive Inner Child pin if you pull up and run into us. And other than that, if you want to keep up with Inner Child, follow us on Instagram, innerchild_short film. And yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Nice. Well, thank you guys for being on with us. Good discussion, and yeah, we look forward to hopefully meeting you in San Diego. So, yeah, we'll go around the room really quick. Lisa, where can people find you? What are you working on?
So you can find me on Instagram at redfeathergirl01. I'm also on TikTok with the same handle, and then just under Lisa Counterman on Facebook. And I'm going into learning the sound side of things, and I'm going to be starting actually on my feature film. And I have opened up the portal of writing. I've never been a writer and just started writing some scripts. So I'll be on the writer and director side of things, which will be very different. So I'm excited about it.
Nice. Thank you. We look forward to hearing about it too. So thank you. Definitely let us know. Donnie, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram on _Donnie Appleseed, or check out my photography also on Instagram, 125 Photography, all one word. I just want to say to the guests, thank you so much for coming on. Short films in general just is really impactful and is really important for the film industry. Not only does it, give a platform for new talent, but I think it really challenges innovative storytelling and also the resourcefulness when it comes to the amount of creativity that goes into it. So, and your film is no exception. So thank you so much for your time.
Justin, where can people find you, my friend?
Yeah, everybody can find me on socials, Shibs the Zombie, SHIBBS the Zombie, for like my personal stuff, and I post goofy memes and all that good stuff. If you want to see some of my art, GhostNerd88 is my tag. Find me on there. Look at my art. Look at it deeply. Look at it, in a way that, engulfs you in passion and maybe even some trauma. And yeah, that's me.
Thank you for that, Justin. Alex.
You can find me at Daily Dares on all the socials. I am currently trying to post up more merch for my Depop. I got a couple new shoes that I want to throw on there. Some shirts. Trying to beef it up before San Diego Comic-Con. Maybe make some extra cash to spend there, because I know I don't want to spend a lot of cash there, but I probably will. And I am also trying to fill up my sketchbook. You'll find me there trying to get sketches from artists. This is from Luke Chu. 2024. Last year, got Scott C. Yeah, but I got some pretty legendary artists in here. Got Tokidoki.
Nice. You
And,
should write a sketch.
Our homie Anta. Shout out
Yeah,
Anta.
Anta.
We love Anta.
But yeah,
Yeah.
other than that, you could try to look for me in San Diego, working at a coffee shop, cooking up new food and beverages and stuff
But
like
he's
that.
great at hiding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm way better at hiding. You'll never find me. I don't want you to know where I work.
He sees us, but we don't see him. Thanks for that,
exactly.
Alex. Arnold, where can people find you, my friend?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Arnie Collego. You'll catch me on there doing my private chef stuff, podcast stuff, cooking up stuff like this pizza here. It's been staring at me this whole time. Yeah, I'm getting ready for Comic-Con. So lately, a lot of the stuff I've been putting out there is stuff from Comic-Con and the past years, and just getting excited for it, and hope to see any of the fans out there. Hope to meet up with you guys there at Comic-Con. Check out the screening. If you guys do see any of us, come and say what's up. Yeah, and
We'll give you a free sticker
yeah.
if you say hi.
Free sticker, a handshake, and a butt grab. Yeah. Consensual.
You gotta check a little box.
Yeah, we have consent forms that you have to fill out, and then we go grab your butt. It's all
last but
legal.
not least-
It's all legal.
It's
Yeah.
actually our NDA.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's for
intimacy
last.
experts are standing by, so don't worry about that. What's that, Arnold?
Best for last, Mr. Adrian, Mr. BOOTZ Too Big.
Yeah, find
can
me
we
on
find
the
you?
interwebs, Boots Too Big. Find me on Letterboxd, Boots Too Big. I'm building up a little bit of a following there, guys. I have over 1,000 followers now, which for me is crazy. It's a lot of people that are, for some reason, reading my stuff. I don't know why. And then, yeah, follow the show everywhere else. Follow the Never Seen It Podcast, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Follow us on our website, neverseenitpodcast.com. Email us, podcast.neverseenit@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Big thanks to Mr. Kyle Maps and Burn Cycle for the intro and outro music. You can follow Kyle on Instagram at selfies_food_and_pets. And follow my other podcast. I do a book podcast with my co-host David Cardoso, which I never talk about, but I should. We just did an episode on Sex Bot Uprising, which is about 2 Yale graduates who... No, but we did just do an episode on that. So fun show, fun times. Follow us on there. And yeah, any final words from the gentleman and the gang, I should say. Sorry, Lisa. The gang and the gentleman.
If you see Adrian at San Diego Comic-Con, grab his butt.
Exactly.
He consents.
Yeah, I do consent, yeah. I pre-consent. Yes, exactly.
I know I will.
All right.